Good morning, it's 6:30 a.m. I'm walking through Shrewsbury town along the canal with this beautiful, lovely view behind me, and that way as well. Couldn't be lovelier, could it? So where am I off to today, you wonder? Well, I'm off to the Festival of Quilts. Would you like to come with me? I think we should go together. Let's go. Well, hello there, and welcome back to my flat. It's been a few days since I went to the Festival of Quilts. I didn't get time to do a follow-up video after I'd been there, so because I've been away, I've had a lot of things to do, but I'm here now just to catch up with you and tell you all about the festival that I've just visited. So the festival was on for 4 days. This year I went for one day because I actually wanted to go for 2 days, but as we were visiting family during that time as well, I thought I'll just do one day again. But I am so sure that next time I go to the Festival of Quilts, I'm definitely going to book for a bit longer because there's just so much to see and do there. Like it's just wonderful. It's just such a nice experience. So it is on at the NEC Arena in Birmingham, which is it's next to Birmingham Airport. So if you're flying in, then it's there waiting for you, which I think is actually quite cool. There's loads of hotels around there if you did need to stay overnight. Last year when I went, I stayed in Birmingham city centre because it was a bit of a last minute thing due to train strikes and whatnot. This year I didn't need to stay over or anything because I was coming from Shrewsbury, which wasn't too far away. And actually, I went there, and in the afternoon, Luke's mum and Luke's auntie caught us up. And I would like to talk about accessibility. So Luke's auntie is due an operation on her knee, so needed well would have been preferable to get disabled parking. Now, she wasn't able to book that online. It came across as quite complicated to do. However, when she got there and she said, look, I don't have a blue badge, but I'm waiting. I've got my stroller with me, waiting for an operation. They did let her go and use the parking. And let me tell you, the disabled parking for, or the accessible parking for the Festival of Quilts was amazing. It's like the festival is in halls 7, 8, and 9, and then if you needed to, they'd open the back up of hall 6, which is next door, and you could just drive into hall 6, park up there, and then you came out of hall 6 and you're straight into hall 7 to get into the festival. Amazing. Like, they couldn't have done it any better. So yeah, I caught up with them in the afternoon, so we had a little mooch around together and explore, which was really, really nice to share with somebody, actually, because usually I go on my own. So I went for one day. I booked onto 2 courses during that day, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about those now. So the first wasn't really a course, but more of a class, to be honest. Oh no, not even a class. It was a demonstration, and although I enjoyed it, I was a bit disappointed of how it was sort of laid out, should I say. So it was called Word Salad by a fabric artist called Catherine Pellman, and I'm going to put a couple of pictures up of her work here just so you can see the kind of stuff she does, and it's so much fun. So she basically goes through all her fabrics, cuts out all the words, and then makes little poetry up for the words, and sort of usually bases it around a female character. So she's got one where it's a little sort of traditional 1950s lady by a cooker, and then she's got all these words about planning and what is it? Let me see. Cooking, home style, and like things that sort of fit around that person, which I think is quite fun. It's like a really good thing to do. Now, she did say that she's not sure about the UK fabric, and because she managed to get all these different words out of all these different fabrics, and I look at my fabric collection and I just see cats, to be honest. Probably because I just buy fabric with cats on, but all the other fabric I've got, I don't see barely any words. But then she did say that in America, like the fabric selection is like a million times better than over in the UK, which I think for a lot of crafty items we can agree with, that the Americans do it so much better. So it was still inspiring though, and it gave me lots of ideas of how I could use words within my work, but also it'd be quite fun just to do it as collage. Like, I'd quite like just to read some magazines, cut some words out, and work it around some characters or something, doing that. So, that might be quite a nice little rainy day project for me one day, just to get a bit creative with words and pictures and things, and just fill up some of these 8,000 sketchbooks that I seem to have sitting there doing nothing as well. So yeah, that was the first demo, I'm going to call it. But why I was disappointed is because we didn't get to do anything, which kind of I understand because it says it's a demo, but at the same time we could have done something a bit for the hour that we got. We could have done something really small, like postcard size. We could have just played with some. Let's see. It's gone. It's not gone. And I'm not going to edit that out, I'm afraid. So sorry if that scared you or your cat or your dog or your mother-in-law, but I'm going to keep talking. So yeah, it was just a little bit, there was nothing to really see. And the way it was set out is it was in one of the workshop rooms, and it was just like her on a table moving words around. Like, there wasn't even a screen or a projector to like put her up onto a big screen. It was like watching somebody it'd be like watching me now. I'm drawing you a picture, but you can't actually see what I'm drawing. It just felt a bit like that. It was a bit if you're going to pay this woman to come over from America and invite her to the Festival of Quilts, at least give her something, you know, a good platform to do her stuff on. Yeah. So for that reason, I just thought for the money I paid, which was about, I think it was about 20 pound, it could have either been a lot less and just seen it on a screen, or a little bit more and actually made some word salad ourselves. But apart from that, it was super inspirational. She is a really cool woman, and I really loved what she does. It was just not very well laid out. But yeah, it was still exciting. It was still interesting. And then the second one I went on, the second class, I actually did get to do something, which was good. And this was called Mini Quilts by Sarah Humphreys. Now you can find Sarah Humphreys on Instagram as, I'm going to put that there if you can see it. Oh my god. Focus, focus, focus. I can't even see if that is focusing or not, but Instagram, Edward and the White Bear is her Instagram name. And she does predominantly modern quilts, and she had a couple on show within the exhibition itself, and they're really fun. And her workshop was to show us how to make mini quilts with little messages on. So we all got given a fun pack and opened up our packs, and she gave us the instructions to make 2 different styles of quilts. And you might have seen some on my Instagram already, but this is the first one that I made. And so I chose my fabrics, went for a sort of yellowy pinky theme, and if you just use regular stampers like I've got, they're in a plastic bag so they don't fall out, like I've got here, but you do need an ink pad that can go onto fabric. I'm not sure this one can. I need to like work out which ink pads can go, because I've got loads of little letters and little ink pads and things lying around. I need to just figure out which ones go onto fabric. You can stamp little messages and make tiny little mini quilts, which I love this. I think I'm going to make some more. I think people are going to find these in their pigeonholes at work on rubbish days. And you know, I work in a school, and it turns out that the big O is coming next year to see our school, so I think this is like quite a nice little gift for people, just to like boost a bit of morale and stuff. So that's my first one, and then she did give us enough material to make another one. Look at that cool alphabet material. So I am going to be putting that one together as well this week, I think. So yeah, she was absolutely brilliant. It was really nice. I mean, I managed to get most of this done in the hour, and then I just finished off the slow stitching in the car on the way home. So yeah, I had a finished quilt by the time I got back home, which I think is absolutely perfect, because sometimes you do classes at these things and you just barely even get started. Then you've got to find that motivation to finish it off when you do get home. And I think I've still got a couple of unfinished things from last year's. So yeah, the courses are great. There's such an amazing range of courses, and like, if I had the, you might have the money. If I had the money, I would do so many of them over the week. I'd stay for the 3 nights, go on all 4 days, and do like 2 or 3 courses a day, and learn so many new skills from it. Because they are affordable. They are mostly about 18 to 20, 22, 23 pound, I think. So I think some of them get a bit costlier if the materials get a bit pricier, but or if it's somebody that's a bit more famous. But mostly, they're just so enjoyable. You learn so many new skills. So there we go. That's that. They were the classes that I did. So let's now talk about my haul. So I'm going to hold my hands up now and say this might not be the haul video you were hoping for. I didn't buy that much, and basically because I've already got a lot of stuff. I'm in the middle of sorting everything out. I actually hadn't budgeted for this trip, just because I'd forgotten to budget, and because usually I put a bit of extra aside so I can treat myself to some goodies. I mean, I treated myself to a couple of things, but like nothing too extreme or exciting. So yeah, it's not going to be the most impressive haul in the world, but I'm still going to share it with you because I think it's good to know what you can get from these things. So first things first, I treated, well, this was my treat actually. This was the tote bag this year. So, because it's a 20-year anniversary, they made like this really nice, thick, strappy tote bag. And I don't have that many of those. I've got loads of little thin tote bags with like the little thin straps, but nothing, and they're great if you want to like carry more stuff. They're really, really, or you need an extra bag if you're traveling alongside your suitcase. They're really, really handy to have. So that was my first purchase. Secondly, I visited the lovely Kate from Sparklies and ended up kitting myself up a project which I've actually already started. So you're going to see my projects as well. So I picked up, what's it called? Reflections of Amsterdam by Ink Circles. I travelled to Amsterdam about 4 or 5 years ago in the middle of February. It was freezing cold. It was a beautiful place though, and I'd very much like to go again, maybe in a warmer climate. So that's what I picked up. I then went to Paint Box Threads and selected, oops, oh my gosh, this colour of thread to stitch on. Absolutely love using this thread, by the way. This is Pearl 12, so it's really lovely, thin, but you only use one strand at a time, which makes it really nice to use because your crosses come up really, really nicely on the stitches, and it's really lightly variegated. Like, it actually doesn't look that variegated here, but when you look at what I've been working on, the variegation comes up so nicely. So yeah, and I only needed to buy one skein of that, and that was about £2.95, and there's tons of it. So that was the thread that I chose, and then now I can show you the material, but I can also show you what I've been working on so far as well. So then I chose for my material, Kate gave it away, but I can't remember the name of it. So I'm just going to have to find my little card. There we go. So this is Sparkly's Fire by Kate again. And this is how it's coming out so far. So I've done the middle mandala. I started it as soon as I got home and got the middle mandala done. And I love the colour choices I've made, if I say so myself, on here. I think that teal comes up so, so nicely. I feel like this is the sort of beautiful orangey red shade of Amsterdam tulips, and that's the leaves that go with it. I just think it comes up so, so nicely. So yeah, that was my main purchase of the trip. And then after that, had a little look around the other stores. I went, I can't remember what it's called. There's like a really good market stall there, and it sells everything like really super cheap. So I picked up some more John James needles. Did not realise how thin the eyes are on these needles. Really need to get a needle minder if I want to use these. Picked up another needle snipper because I don't know where they all go, to be honest. I've got a black hole of needle snippers somewhere in this house. Some butterfly head pins. I think I might have bought some of them last year as well, but I quite like them, so I thought I'll get some more. A rotary cutter, because I spent a lot of time making bunting, and I'm going to be spending a heck of a lot of time next year making bunting, so I thought it's good to have a couple of spares of these lying around. And then, so that's like the boring bits. I went to a stall called Janie Crow, and as you know, I've just sort of started getting into my crochet a little bit, and she was doing really, really beautiful patterns, and she had them all laid out. So I bought this absolutely gorgeous. It doesn't show you the whole quilt, but that's what it looks like. It's called Mystical Lanterns, and it's just all these beautiful strings of not granny squares but little motifs of flowers and leaves, and it looks so beautiful. Now it's a bit beyond my skill set at the moment, but I just thought, God, what a unicorn piece. Hopefully maybe in a year's time I might be able to get started on this and make something good from it, because my crochet is improving, and yeah, it would be really nice to have a go at something like that. And the last thing I bought was from Ashmead Designs, and they make this stuff called hexiform. So if you've done any paper piecing, hexiform is like little squishy pieces of material that sort of, they fit inside your hexagons, but you don't actually have to take them out afterwards. They just stay in, and it adds to like the texture. So I picked up, this is the tiniest picture in the world, but I picked up this tiny little Christmas wreath decoration to make, and it's got everything in the back. It's got all your little pieces of material, teeny tiny little, I mean, if you want to see it to context, that's how small those hexagons are. Little bow and some little beads there as well. So yeah, I'm looking forward to making that towards Christmas time. Yeah, and that was my haul. So it wasn't a lot, but it was enough to keep me happy and entertained. And I've got so many things that I keep picking up from festivals, going, oh, I'll do those one day. So I am going to make myself a rainy day box and put all my teeny little projects in. That will go in. And then every weekend when I'm like, oh, what shall I do? I can go to my box and be like, right, I'm going to start and finish that today. And get all these little things done that I keep picking up and purchasing. It's such a shame I buy them and then I just never get around to doing them, because I end up just getting involved with so many other projects. Right, so that's the haul, and let's just talk about the quilts themselves. The Festival of Quilts is huge. It's like, I don't know if it's the biggest one in Europe. It's the biggest one in Britain. I don't know if it's the biggest one in Europe, but you see so many beautiful, beautiful, inspiring quilts there. And I am going to do a beautiful slideshow at the end just to share with you all the quilts that I saw. But it would take me forever to go into detail about everyone. As you know, when you see my quilts that I took pictures of, you'll know I've got a certain style. You'll know that I go for certain things. So if you watch some other people's videos of the Festival of Quilts, Google, if you put Festival of Quilts 2023 in the search engine, you should get some other people's perspectives as well. So if my taste is in your taste, don't worry, because I'm sure there's somebody else out there that took loads of pictures of some of the things that I maybe didn't take the pictures of. But it was really, really fascinating just to see so many different artists getting their work out there. So inspiring. It gives me so many ideas of what I want to achieve creatively, what I want to be able to put together myself. Because to be honest, I am not much of a quilter yet. I am mostly a stitcher, embroiderer. Started getting properly into crochet this year. But I think once I've moved house, which we're planning on doing, and I'm able to set my area up with my sewing machine out and everything around me, then yeah, maybe 2024 or 2025 will be my actual year of quilts. Until then, I'm loving the English paper piecing. I do bits of that here and there and all my other creativities. But yeah, maybe in the next couple of years, you'll start seeing me put together some really, really nice, well, I say really nice, I don't know if I can make them or not yet, but put together some quilts on this channel. So until then, I'm going to visit every single quilt festival I see and get inspired by other people, because I think they're amazing quilts. I really wish I had one that somebody had made for me. I wish I think in America it's a bit of a given, isn't it, that somebody in your family will make you that wedding quilt or make you that sort of childhood quilt. And I've never had a quilt like that. So it's going to be up to me now to learn how to do this and sort of start sharing quilts around, which is why I think these mini quilts are absolutely cute, brilliant. I can start gifting people mini quilts, and then, you know, people have received quilts. It might not be full sized, but it is adorable, and it's a gift. So there you go. So that was it. That is, I think, everything I want to mention about the Festival of Quilts this year. Absolutely love it as a day out. I really do. I do enjoy the knitting and stitching shows as well. Yes, they are a bit busy, so if you're not comfortable around crowds, my advice is get there mega early, because it's not that busy between about 9 and 11, or 9:30, 11, and it does get quieter towards the end of the day from about 3 o'clock onwards as well. I seem to find it's during that middle of the day where it gets ridiculously, well, not ridiculously, but it does get uber busy. But actually, I find the Festival of Quilts is so much more enjoyable space-wise than the Ali Pali Knitting and Stitching Show, and also the Stitching Festival that they do in Islington. If you don't like crowds, the Islington one is an absolute no-no. It's crazy. Like, even me, who lives in London, deals with crowds every day, don't really like being elbowed all the time just so somebody else can get their hands on a fabric that they might want more than you. It gets me a bit riled up. But apart from that, yeah, it's a great day out. The food's a bit pricey, but it's what you expect from somewhere like that. So take a bit extra, take your own lunch, or take a bit of extra money if you are trying to budget in for food during the day as well. But yeah, there's loads of seating, well, places to sit there. So if you do know that you're going to need rests throughout the day, there's loads of little spaces to sit. There aren't really any stitchy corners in the quilt festival, but like in the knitting festivals, they often have like settees out and things like that. So, you know, it doesn't really offer that. There is a Wetherspoons outside the arena that you can go and get a bit cheaper food from, but actually it's still priced a bit higher than regular Wetherspoons. I think there's a pasty shop there as well. You know, there's a few things outside too, so you're never stuck for food, drinks, and accessibility wise, it's good. You can drive there. I actually got the train there in the morning because I was getting there early to get to some classes. One thing I will say is the walk from the train station to the festival is so long. It's like must be about 15 minutes. But apart from that, you know, it's a brilliant day out. Definitely sign up and do it next year. Definitely go to Birmingham. It's my second year doing it, and I'm not bored yet. Would like to go back, hopefully next year, but it might clash with my wedding party, so might not be a priority next year. But I'll definitely be going back in the future. I do love it as a day out. So I hope you've enjoyed this video for a bit of advice, bit of an insight into the Festival of Quilts, tiny little mini tour at the beginning. You've seen my haul, and then now I'm just going to put on a really nice slideshow of all the different quilts that I saw. And until next time, next festival maybe, keep enjoying these videos that I do. Please like it if you did enjoy it. If you're not a subscriber yet and you've just popped on because you're looking at videos of quilts, please subscribe. Please come and join my lovely little community here on the internet. It's really nice to see new subscribers, and have a great day. Keep smiling, keep stitching, and see you in the next one. Goodbye.